back, everybody, to Victory Formation. My name is JeffLightsyJr. We have a special guest with us today. We have Mr. Steve Wyche of the NFL Network, Howard University alum. Mr. Steve, how's it going, sir?
Hey, man, I'm good, Jeff. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you for being on with us. Mr. Steve, you've been busy. You've sat down with Sean Payton, Carson Vincent. Obviously, the football season is about to get started, so the NFL training camps are underway. Just what is this time of the year like for Steve Wyche? Like, what is it like for you to get into as we get into football season?
It's like when you're in 5th or 6th grade and you're looking forward to that first week of school, seeing your old friends again, getting used to acclimating, getting into that rhythm. But it's different for me this year because I'm going to be doing a bunch of stuff for HBCU Go as well. Yes. I'm going to be doing 7 ball games in the booth, mainly with James Hadnot and Charlie Neal. So I'm kind of getting back to my roots with Black college football. Things kick off actually Labor Day weekend. NFL Network is going to be doing the Black College Football Hall of Fame Clash at the Classic with Miles against Virginia Union. So a little busier than it has been, but I am eager and looking forward to it, man.
What is it going to be like for you to get back in the booth, not just calling games, but calling Black college football games, HBCU football games?
It's special. It's special. Now, I got to do a lot of my homework, right? I've been so NFL intensive for years, but my heart is with HBCU football. I'm a Howard graduate. I didn't play football at Howard. I could have. Willie Jeffries was the coach and wanted me to play for him then. But it's just something that's near and dear because part of my job here and part of my job, as an alumni is to amplify our HBCUs. And I think by using my voice in a broadcast booth, not just calling the game, but amplifying the players, doing things to help some of these young men and some of these coaches get opportunities to get to the next level because it's getting smaller and smaller with HBCU programs year after year because of the transfer portal. But anything I can do, this isn't about me. This is about what I can do to help others get elevated and to have a better place in life.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Steve, we talked about it. You just spoke let's start with Sean Payton first.
Yeah.
Some of the key points that he talked about with you as far as formulating his coaching and his offense coming from, some of the Black college football legends in the past. What was that like hearing that from him? Just to know that like one of the greatest offensive minds the NFL's ever seen actually got a few tips from a small Black college.
Well, look, there's a lot more to it, and you have to watch the full interview, but I'll leave this as a foundation. In 1984, Sean Payton was an honorable mention All-American quarterback at Eastern Illinois University who threw to a first-team All-American wide receiver named Jerry Wright. They were chasing Mississippi Valley State's offense, of course, led by first-team All-American quarterback Willie Totten and first-team All-American wide receiver Jerry Rice. So Sean Payton takes us back to the genesis of everything, where it all started, where his team, which is putting up 500 yards a game and 30 points a game, couldn't catch Mississippi Valley State. So he studied what they were doing, what was working so well. He's like, okay, this formation that Archie Cooley is running is unstoppable. So I am going to use the similar formation. I'm going to call it a Cooley package. And he has implemented that every year in his time with the Saints and the Denver Broncos. So he walks us through that journey. And not only about, the craziness of what it was in 1984 as a player, but how he teaches that and pays homage to Archie Cooley and explains it to these young players, who this guy was and what they did. And why it's so important to him to keep this going.
As someone who is a HBCU graduate, but that works with, at the NFL Network with NFL teams, players, all these things, when you hear stories like that, what does it do for you personally?
It's awesome. Look, this all started last year when we had just finished broadcasting the All-State HBCU Legacy Bowl in February. Yes. I had not finished packing my stuff in the booth, and Sean Payton calls me like, oh, my God, I just watched this game. It was great. It reminded me of this. And he tells me the story, and I couldn't get him off the phone for 15 minutes. His energy was blowing through the phone. And I said, Sean, we have to talk about this on air. We have to find the proper platform to do it, which is why HBCU Go was the right platform for him to tell the story. But there's a million of these stories out there that it is my job now to unearth and to tell, because there's so many things that are rooted, in the bigger picture that have ties to the HBCU community and the family and the alumni base and the current student base that are waiting to be told, that have yet to be unearthed. And if it wasn't for Sean Payton watching that Legacy Bowl last February, he may have never told the story. He said he's really never told anybody the story. He just has the package that he talks about that he uses in his offense. And so, again, it is my job to find these stories and to tell them on HBCU Go and platforms where I feel this will get the most important display.
Absolutely. Now, as a part of your HBCU Go storytelling ability, you also spoke with Carson Vincent, the Baltimore Ravens, Alabama A&M alum. What was that conversation like for you, and how are things going with Carson?
It was important because, Carson was the only player from an HBCU drafted since 2023. And that's a trend that's going to continue to happen because of the transfer portal, unfortunately. So Carson, who's a very smart young man, who had opportunities to transfer away from Alabama A&M, but didn't. He was eager to talk about. We talked more so about his transition to the NFL, because all the time players from HBCUs are brought in as developmental players, and he is another one of them. He's going to be sitting behind a perennial Pro Bowler Ronnie Stanley at left tackle, but they're getting him ready. Like, I had gone up to the Ravens training camp. I'd spoke to people about him. They're getting him ready to one day be their guy. He's going to have opportunities if he puts in the work and continues to develop. So it really focuses on that, but some of it is, him sharing his insight on his fellow HBCU colleagues and alum and what maybe they need to do to take advantage of the opportunities they have to get where he is. He understands this is bigger than him, and much credit to that young man.
That's awesome to hear that, and he's right. It is definitely bigger than him, but it's something that I do believe. The transfer portal. To your point, it's there. I mean, it's something that everybody in every space in college football and college athletics has to deal with. But I do believe that if we continue to push avenues like the Legacy Bowl, and these different things, I believe that it is something that HBCU players can stay at their schools and still see NFL draft, success.
Yeah, they can. I mean, look, it's a matter of, like, you see Ian Wheeler from Howard, the running back from Howard with the Bears, was having a great preseason last year, blew out his knee. But now he's lighting it up in preseason again this year. So he's got an opportunity. It is really just, and I say this because oftentimes at HBCUs, we talk about what we don't have, right? We don't have the great nutrition table. We don't have the great weight room. Well, you know what? A 45-pound plate in the weight room at North Carolina A&T weighs the same as the 45-pound plate at the University of Alabama. You're going to have to do more, right? You're going to have to be better. If you don't have necessarily a great strength coach, there's all kinds of things you can find to make yourself better, right? There's ways that we have to take advantage of what we do have. And that's why when I talk to some of these legends, these Black College Football Hall of Famers, even some of the guys in the league now, when I talk to Kadero Hodge, who came from Prairie View, who plays with the Falcons, right? He's been in the league for 7 or 8 years. Taking advantage of the situation and not making excuses for what you don't have, but what's inside of you, that's how you can overcome some of the hurdles that are in play right now for a lot of players from HBCUs.
Absolutely. Once again, we're talking to Steve Wyche of the NFL Network. Now, Steve, I want to ask you, outside of football, you spoke about being a Howard University alum. How did your experience at Howard prep you for what you do now and in your role with the NFL Network and everything that you do in life?
Great question. Because look, I have a basis of comparison. I spent the first 2 years of my college career at the University of Missouri, right, before I transferred to Howard. So here I am in a classroom at Missouri with sometimes 250 students going to a classroom at Howard with 45. And so that intimate relationship that you would have with your professors or your colleagues, you were pushed a lot harder, right? In my window at Howard, in our journalism department, me, Stan Verrett, at ESPN, Gus Johnson, the Fox broadcaster, Michelle Miller, who's on CBS Mornings, Frederica Whitfield for CNN, it was a couple years ahead of us, but we were all together, right? So there was this friendly competition where we were all helping each other because we all realized we were going to be good. And I started out in the print world. I was a newspaper guy for a long time. And so I had teachers who pushed me because I saw my work ethic, right? When I was at Missouri, I played football. So I poured everything I was putting into my preparation to play football into my academics and working on the student newspaper and whatnot. So teachers saw that. They pushed me. And I got opportunities to work 20 hours a week at the Washington Post in their sports department. So I'm around Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser and Ken Denlinger and Sally Jenkins, like all of these legends. And so I was ready. So being in DC, in a market like DC, where the Washington Post was there, where I had opportunities to do this, and then having my peer support and competition. Hey man, when I went down to the Richmond Times-Dispatch for my first job, it wasn't the craft that I had to get better at, which is true. I had a lot of growth to go, but it was just learning life as any 23-year-old would have to do once they kind of leave kind of the friendly structure of their university campus.
I mean, being at Howard during that time with you and the rest of those, I mean, talk about legends. You guys and gals are all doing like the top of your profession. And it is amazing to hear you say, like, I wouldn't have been afforded that opportunity, the Washington Post, growing with those professionals that are at the peak of your profession if I didn't go to Howard. That's awesome to hear things like that.
Yeah, I was real fortunate, and this is what I would advise young people today. Like, go to job fairs. Even if you're in school in South Carolina, go to job fairs in DC, in Miami, in Atlanta, wherever you can get to, because so often we give potential employers the out of not knowing where to find talent. Don't give them that out. Move the mountain, to Muhammad, so to speak. Show up there like, I'm here. There's no reason to say you can't talk to me. You don't know where I am. Here are my credentials. Here's why I can make you better. And, sometimes our universities don't have the career support systems to help students find internships and things like that. Hey, man, that's what the internet is loaded with ways to find it. Stop doing just classwork. You have to go above and beyond, because opportunities in the media world that I'm in are shrinking, right? With everything else consolidating and this and that. So you've really got to distinguish yourself. And, those are messages that I give to young people all the time when they ask me for, mentorship and things like that.
Mr. Wyche, we'll get you out on this. You talked about those 7 games that you'll be doing for HBCU Go in the booth. What are you most looking forward to when it comes to calling those games this season?
Oh man, working with my play-by-play guy. I'm gonna be the analyst. So working with the play-by-play folks and the sideline folks. I mean, when you create a good booth and you create a good team, it helps you, again, amplify what's happening on the field, right? We know that a black college football game is more than a game. It's an event, right? We got the bands, we got the tailgate, we got Neck playing in the sideline and stuff like this. So we know all that's going to happen. So working in the booth with, Charlie Neal and being with Nia Simone and Laurencia Moten and all of these wonderful people at HBCU Go, I want to build a family that I will remember forever, where we can let our viewers and everybody know that we're doing this for you. We're setting the table for you so you can eat these victuals we're laying out for you.
Yeah, that is awesome. Well, that is Steve Wyche. Mr. Steve, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to speak with me. This has been a treat.
Oh, Jeff, appreciate you, my man.
Thank you. And thank you all for listening. We'll be right back after the break.